Yeah, LOZ. We gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. LOZ. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teach of repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people. We set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures. We meditate. All in the truth. I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law. We gon' levitate. We them Jews. There be no lies. With it, there we won't die. With it for the truth. I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, then we got the nations in more fear. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need to listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. But the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people will see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, LOZ. We gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. LOZ. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teach of repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people. We set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures. We meditate. All in the truth. I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law. We gon' levitate. We them Jews. There be no lies. With it, there we won't die. With it for the truth. I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, then we got the nations in more fear. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need to listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. But the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people will see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. All praise to the Most High. Bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Yeah, LOZ. We gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah, bring it out. LOZ. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teach of repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people, we set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures, we meditate. All in the truth, I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law, we gon' levitate. We them Jews, there be no lies. With it, there we won't die. With it, for the truth, I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, then we got them nations in more fear. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need a listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. For the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people gon' see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. Hey, bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. Hey, bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. All praise to the Most High. Bring it out. LOZ, let's go. LOZ, we gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah. Hey. 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 Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. Hey, bring it out. LOZ, we got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves and we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets.
Shalom, shalom, shalom to the family, to the whole works. It's the BTO show. I'm the Chief Minister, Minister Shalom. The water for everybody that's logged in. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai that's given us this opportunity to come together to talk about it. Because that's what we're going to do here on the BTO show, Bring It Out radio show. We're going to talk about it. Right, as you see, the title of this show is The Art of War. The Art of War. Putting up a resistance against the enemy. We got to learn how to do this, family. We can't be caught slipping because the enemy that we're against, he's not taking breaks. He's not taking, he's very slick. He's conniving, he's cunning. We have a cunning opponent. So then you have to be just as smart, just as cunning, just as ready as your enemy is. And to do that, you have to know something called the art of war. We're actually going to go into the book, The Art of War, by Sun Tzu, right? Sun Tzu went into the art of war. We're going to go into the book. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go into the scriptures because the most warriorous king, the most warriorous power on the earth is our power, the Almighty Yahweh. He raised us to be warriors. He raised us to put up a resistance and to fight. He called us to be soldiers. My brothers that's soldiers and my sisters soldiers that's out there. He called us to put up a resistance against the evildoers. So the art of war is something that we should all be studying and to observe. Why? Because we don't want to be caught not ready. We don't want to be caught behind the 8 ball. We don't want to be caught, getting knocked down, knocked out, because our enemy ain't playing in these last days. And he coming in many different angles, many different entities. The enemy is coming at the children of the light. So you got to know the art of war. Okay. Shalom to the early family that's online. Shalom, shalom. The water for logging in with the light of Zion. The water for logging in with the show for loud. The water for logging in with the BTO show. As you can see, we started out the show with a video, right? We don't have our beloved DJ with us today, so we're going to have to VJ it out today. We're going to have to video disc jockey this show today, but we're going to do a good job. We're going to keep the music rolling. We're going to keep the conversation up and ready. We actually going to put the link in the chat because we're going to ask some questions today. We're going to talk about who's putting up a resistance, who got their art of war down pat, who knows their martial arts, their spiritual martial arts, who knows how to defend themselves as well as deliver a blow, right, to take the enemy out of the way, to render him helpless, right? We're going to talk about it today on the BTO show, right? So we're going to get right into it. The captain and I, because I didn't come by myself. I didn't roll solo. I got the man with the master plan with me. All right. If you ain't know about it, you can read about it. I got my man with me, right? 100 grand, the 1K assassin, right? Right. The minister of mayhem, right? If you see him on a street corner and you don't want to get right, it's best you go the other way. I got with me my captain, I'm a one, Bun Lawyer, Bunya Sharala, is in the building. All right. All praise. Right. You don't want to get right, right? You better go the other way. Because he got a can of act right, waiting on the first person that walk by that don't want to know about the Most High. All right. So, Cap, we're going to talk about it today, the art of war. Right? I want to show the people the book so we know we ain't playing around. This ain't no Google copy. All right. This is the actual art of war book. I sent you. We're gonna go up in this book. We're gonna talk about it. All right. Because we have to be warriors. The Most High called it. He said the Most High, he's a defender of all that's right. He's a defender, and he expects us to be it too. Right. Male and female. We all got to be defenders of what's right. We can't just lay down for everything. There's an old saying, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for everything. Right? So you got to stand up for something, family. You got to stand up for what's right. You got to stand up for what's Torah, what's godly. Right? So we're going to talk about it. Let's get a couple of scriptures to get our minds right. Then we're going to go into the book. Then we're going to play some more music. Then I'm going to open up the chat. I want the family to get ready. I'm going to put the chat. A brave soul is going to jump online and speak with us today. Right? Tell a friend to log in. Share this on all platforms. It's the BTO show. Let's get Colossians 3, verse 17. Shalom, as my captain's big it up. Shalom to Don Israel. Right? Shalom to Sister Zakaya. Shalom to Ezra, Aaron. Shalom to Maisha. Papai Mariah's in the building, always supporting. Shalom to Zephaniah. Khan. Shalom to Uzariah is in the building. What else we got in the building? Rona's on the check-in. Shalom, Sister Rona. All right, let's get these numbers up. Remember, tell a friend to log in. Share it on all platforms. Share it on your IG, your FB, your Twitter, your what else they got out there?
Twitch.
Your Twitch account. Share it on that. Right? Sharing is caring, family. So let's make sure we get this out there. Let's get this instruction. Let's get our people online. Colossians 3, verse 17. We start out with that. All praises.
Book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17.
God.
Whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Odd One Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right, always giving all thanks to the Most High in the name of the Mashiach Yahushai. So I want to start with Psalms. I want to go to Psalms because David was a warrior king. He was going through a lot, and the Most High showed him how to fight. He showed him how to defend himself, how to defend righteousness, how to defend his power. All right, so Psalms 139, I think we start with verse 19.
The book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 19.
Come on.
Surely thou wilt slay the wicked,
right?
O Yahweh. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men.
Right, so he said the Most High will slay the wicked. So y'all wicked men, y'all bloody men better depart from me. You better not mess with me because my power gonna fight. And my power don't play. See, David understood that when we stand with the Most High, he will defend us. He will come to the valiant battle with us. He's not sending us into the battle by ourselves. Right? So one of the, as before we go into the actual Art of War book, one thing that we want to put on our list of our martial arts, our spiritual martial arts, is we always remember, if we write according to the commandments, the Most High will fight with us. He will fight for us. If we're right according to his commands. We always got to remember that. So our rule number one is once we right with the Father, Yah is going to fight for us and with us, right? Against the enemy. Let's read.
Verse 20. For they speak against thee wickedly.
They speak against what?
Against thee wickedly.
Right, because they might be talking to you, but they're actually talking against the Most High. You understand that? Because if you standing for the laws, you standing for what's righteousness, somebody can come at you, but they're not really coming at you. They're coming at the Most High. Because your laws and your rules are according to what the Father said. So he said here, for they speak against thee wickedly. So David is saying, these people that's coming at him is coming against the Most High wickedly. Read.
And thy enemies.
And thy what?
Thy enemies.
And thy enemies, go ahead.
Take thy name in vain.
And then they have the nerve to be like God said. You know? Everybody want to take the name of the Most High in their mouth. Meanwhile, they don't follow the laws and the commandments of the Most High. Right? But they want to make it, they want to tell us that we're not righteous. We're not godly. When we're living according to the laws. They want to make their opinion the Most High's will.
Right.
Right. You might experience that in your life. Some of the feminists online. Right? Have you ever experienced somebody using their opinion and making it like the Most High said it? But they got no scriptures to back them up. Put a 1 in the chat if you ever experienced that. Put a 1 in the chat if you ever experienced somebody coming against you for what you're doing, using the Most High's name, but got no scriptures and no laws to back up what they're saying whatsoever. Right? If you ever went up against Christianity, you know what I'm talking about, right? Because they have nothing based according to the word where they swear God told them something. Yeah, they swear up and down, this is a message from the Most High. Right? Let's read. God, I see them ones rolling in, right? People come against the righteous with their own opinion. Right? Let's read. It's a madness.
That's funny. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain.
Right?
Do not I hate them, O Yahweh, that hate thee?
Hold on. Wait, this is hold on. This is a lot was just said. Right? He says, do I not hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? Don't I hate them that hate you, Father? So David is saying it's okay to hate. Right? It's okay to hate. See, a lot of people say you can't hate nobody, right? You can't hate nothing. But if somebody's coming against our Heavenly Father, you hate them in the sense of you separate. Hate separates. You try to roll with the Father, they try to roll with Satan. I can't deal with you. All right? I can't deal with you. David is saying, don't I hate them? So why would he say that to the Most High if it's against the Most High's will to hate?
Right.
Right? There's certain people we're not supposed to hate. We're not supposed to hate our brother, our sister that's struggling in the word alongside us. But the evildoers, the one that just want to be wicked, man, listen, I got a part from you. Right? How does Scripture say, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity? Mm-hmm. Right? Right? The Scripture say, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. You want to be wrapped up in sin? I can't mess with you. I'm gonna put some space between me and you. That's another art of war. You got to create a moat between you and your enemies, right? Okay? You got to create a moat between you and God's enemies, I should say, right? Because a lot of people, they're enemy to the Most High. If they're against this truth, they're enemy to the Most High. If they're against these laws, they're enemy to the Most High. All right, let's read. Got precept? Come on. So right off the rip, we talking about it. Right off the rip. You know what I mean? We're going to pull them powerful scriptures. That's right, Isha. We're going to pull them powerful scriptures tonight because this is a powerful topic. This is something that we got to know how to fight these battles, how to perform in the art of war. Go ahead.
Just to land back on what you said right here. The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 3 and verse 6. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Adonai, Yahushua, that you withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly.
That walketh what?
Disorderly.
Right. So, I mean, how plain is that? From every brother that walketh disorderly. That doesn't mean if your brother make an error or your sister make an error that you gotta like flee from them. This is a brother that just insists on doing things his own way and does not want to do the will of the Most High. We got no. What the scripture say? What concord is there with the
dog and the hyena?
The dog and the hyena. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get there in a minute. Let's finish this though. This is a heavy verse. It's a heavy verse, right? There's no connection between you and the wicked that don't want to serve God, that don't care about these commandments. That say, I don't care what the Bible say. I want to do me, right? Sister Rhoda brought it up. She said, they said someone told me they got the Most High gave them the gift of palm reading, right? How wicked are you to say something like that? When the Most High is against all sorcery, right? When he clearly says not to suffer a witch to live, but you're going to tell me the Most High gave you witchcraft, right? Come on, man. Cut it out. Stop lying. Especially stop lying on the Most High. That's blasphemy. You might know the definition of blasphemy. That's you lying on the Most High, right? That's what they accused Yahushua of, even though he was not guilty of it, right? But they accused him of it, and that punishment for that was death, okay? Lying on the Most High. I believe the Most High want me to do this. But there's no scripture that say that he's supposed to do that. Come on, man. Read.
Verse 6. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Adonai, Yahushua, that you withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the tradition which ye have received of us. For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us, for we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
Right. We're not moving in a disorderly spirit. That's how you know. People ask me sometimes, how do I know should I go with this school or that school? Look at the orders. Look at the commandments, and then look at the person. Look at the commandments and look at the person. You can make your own determination. If the commandments is saying thou shalt do this and that, and they're not doing it, that's the sign right there. This is no place to follow. This is no person to follow, right? Because they're walking disorderly. They're not following the orders. Just when you see the brothers on the block, what you see? What's the first thing you see when you see the brothers on the block? You see fringes. Where fringes come from? The Bible. You see bears. Where bears come? The Bible. Right? You see the Bible in their hand. Who tells us to walk around and read from the Bible? The Bible. Right? You see the signs bringing out the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? So you can clearly see, using your discernment, okay, yeah, these brothers is about something. Let me hear them out. Let me see what they're talking about. But if you're out there with no Bible, no beard, no fringes, right? You're out there looking like Geno Jennings, right? With a three-piece suit and a bow tie on. Why am I following you? You're obviously not keeping God's commandments, right? So that's another reason why we always encourage every sister, every brother, gotta rock your fringes all week, all day. It's a badge of what you're about, right? You gotta rock your fringes everywhere, every way, because you are making a statement that a fellow brother see you, he go, okay, that's a righteous sister, or that's a righteous brother, right?
I met a brother at Publix like that last Friday.
Yeah.
I was shopping. He see my fringe. Why didn't? Because he just woke up to the truth. You know, he just fresh out. He still like he was in the world. Yeah. And I was picking out. I was getting some turkey bacon, and I heard somebody say, "Yo, I like your fringes, little bruh," because you know he's a big guy.
Right.
Way older brother. You know, he's like, yo,
Yeah.
he's like, yo, I like your fringes, old bro. And I turned around. I was like, oh, shalom, brother. He's like, shalom. I just woke up too, and I noticed he had the scarf and everything while he was at work. And we just chopping up. But you know, the fringes indicated, oh, okay, this is a brother that's like me. He's in this walk just like me.
That's right. That's how we know our family, man. Right. So it's not about ourselves all the time. It's about identifying. It's your identity to your family. Your family knows you, sees you by way of your fringes. Right. Right. Never leave home without your fringes on. That's good. That's a big con. All right. So the art of war. First thing that we're going into is, you know, putting that distance between you and your enemy, hating wickedness, hating sin, not hanging around too much with sin, right? I want to bring up Sirach.
I got that scripture for you too.
Okay, what you got?
The book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 15.
13, 15, okay.
Every beast loveth his life,
Yep.
and every man loveth his neighbor.
Right.
All flesh consorteth according to kind.
Right, so we got to listen to this, family. This is a heavy scripture. Write this down. This will make you understand why they got clicks. Right? This will make you understand why there's clicks in Israel. Right? Why there's clicks. Read that again.
All flesh consorteth according to kind.
Uh-huh.
And a man will cleave to his like.
Right. So all flesh consorts to them of his kind. Meaning that you don't see birds and fish hanging out together. Right? You don't see deers and lions kicking it, right? Because they're not the same flesh. All flesh, you look at the animal wild, you see that they group up. You might see antelope with caribou. Because why? Even though they're not the same, it's similar. But you ain't gonna see, or you might see buffalo with bison.
Right.
Because they're similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. So they can consort with each other. But you don't see different flesh hanging together. Why? Because it's going to be a conflict. Right? Read on.
What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb?
Mm-hmm.
So the sinner with the godly.
So what?
The sinner with the godly.
The wolf and the lamb is like the sinner and the godly. How can you spend time together? What would happen to that lamb if it went to hang out with a wolf? Exactly. Right? It will be destruction on sight. That's what happens to a lot of our souls. A lot of brothers that's in this word, they don't want to leave those friends alone. Right? So that enemy can creep through those friends. Right? That enemy can creep through that crack in your armor. And now, or they may have family, right? That they can sneak through and then attack you. You always got to be on your defense mode when you're among the indiscreet. The scripture said, "We're now amongst the unwise." You got to first know the time, how much time you spending, and you got to be extra sharp on your righteousness when you're amongst the indiscreet.
Right.
Right? You got to be extra sharp on your righteousness. Right? Read on.
What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
Mm-hmm. Read.
Because you know, with the hyena and dog, they're both canines,
Right.
but their nature is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
How a hyena go out and destroy and kill.
Yeah.
A dog is going to defend. It's not really going to go out there and murder people and kill.
Right. I ain't gonna destroy a dog.
Right.
Right. I ain't gonna try to play with no dog. He's gonna be, they might be the same, similar species, but they're enemies. The hyena don't have no friends. Hyena only hang with hyenas.
Right.
Right? They don't have friends. They don't chill. They don't coexist with others. Right? So like when we went out to the shout out to everybody that was out at the Brown Sugar Festival this last Saturday. But we out there bringing out the word. We are enemy to everybody out there. Unless they want to change their heart. Then they're going to come in and listen. But we out here bringing out the word. We're not in agreement with what's going on out there. We're here to pull our people from that madness. All right. So as warriors, when we go to a zone like that, we know that's a war zone. Because we're going to the face of our enemy and we're bringing out this word, trying to chop them down, trying to pull our people away from that evil spirit. All right. Read on. Is that it on that?
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of Sirach 27. It says, "We're now amongst the indiscreet." 27 and like hold on, it's at the top. The discourse of the ungodly. Hold on.
You're right here.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 12, verse 12.
The book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 12. Mm-hmm. If thou be among the indiscreet, right, observe the time.
Right. So what is the indiscreet? The indiscreet. That city girl mentality, mm-hmm. right? They have no respect for their bodies, the derogatory language, the derogatory conversation, who they gonna sleep with, who they sleeping with next, who they mess with, who they don't mess with. No discretion, man. You know, he's speaking about their body parts, their feminine parts, their male parts, no discretion, right? The mouth was just loose. Matter of fact, let me see what the definition of discreet is. So we can
discreet or indiscreet?
Indiscreet, I should say. The definition of indiscreet is, so we can get a full understanding of what the scriptures tell us here.
Indiscreet, having, showing, or proceeding from too great a readiness to reveal things that shall remain secret or private.
Right. What's the synonyms?
Imprudent.
Yeah. Impudent.
Impolitic.
Impolitic. Go ahead.
Unwise.
Unwise.
Unjudicious. Mm-hmm. Incautious. Irresponsible.
Irresponsible. I like that word. Irresponsible. Right. Impudent. Meaning that they'll talk about anything, anybody. They don't care. Let me say, I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it. They wear it as a badge. That's what's so great about them. That's not what's great about you. There's a time for discretion. Some things are supposed to be between you and someone else. You're not supposed to spread every rumor to everybody. You lack discretion. All right. Now we gotta think before we speak. All right, let's read.
If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time.
Observe the time means watch how long you spending with them. Go ahead.
But be continually among men of understanding.
But when you're around the righteous, you can chill all day, all night, all week. You have nothing to worry about when you deal with the wisdom. But when you're amongst those that lack wisdom, you better watch the time. Go ahead.
The discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is wantonness of sin.
Right. So the discourse, their speech, what they talk about is what? Irksome. Right? Because they're only talking about getting over conflict, beef. Even when they're peaceful, it's something that you don't want to get down. Talk about getting drunk, getting high, doing this, doing, envy. A lot of times they talk about envy. Who hating on them, who they hating on.
Right.
Right? Who looking at them, who want to be them, who they want to be. Right? Read on.
The talk of him that sweareth much maketh the hair stand upright.
Right. Everything is F's and B's and right. Every word out of their mouth, right? F this, MF, all that. That's what? That's irksome. We shouldn't talk that way. Right? So the discourse is irksome. So we just bringing up some things that identifies the enemy. Right? Identifies the enemy and reasons why you want to part from them. Because ultimately your enemy is something that's stopping you from your goals, right? Let's look up the word enemy. Then we're going to look at this book. Let's look up the word enemy. Let's define the word enemy.
Enemy. A person who's actively opposed or hostile to someone or something.
Right.
A hostile nation or its armed forces or citizens, especially in time of war. Now, the enemy. The enemy shot down 4 helicopters. Let me see. Oh, my bad. The synonyms.
Right.
Foe, adversary, opponent, rival, nemesis, antagonist, combatant.
Right. Combatant. Somebody coming against you on what you're trying to achieve, what your goals are. That's your enemy. Right? If your goals are towards the Most High, right? Somebody is coming against righteousness. Sometimes we need an enemy, right? Because sometimes maybe our goals aren't right, and the Most High will send an enemy to stop us, right, in our tracks, because our goal is not right. Sometimes the enemy is necessary to put us on the right path, but some enemies we need to part ourselves from, right? If it's anything that's taking away our salvation, that's taking away our ability to serve the Most High, that's an enemy that you need to part yourself from. Okay. You might have some enemies that you're trying to win over to the Most High. Well, that's the enemy that you keep in contact with. That's the enemy that you keep that battle up with, right? Some enemies you got to keep that battle up because you're fighting for a particular goal, right? So that enemy is necessary, right? But certain adversaries are not. Right? How did Paul say, "Have I become your enemy?"
I'm mad at you there. Precept. You know, sometimes the Most High will send enemies to teach you, like, you know, get used to that opposition.
Right.
Because if you're not used to opposition, you know, you're gonna think you could just everything just like you could just walk through like free. You just fall through your lap.
Yeah.
You understand? You have to be able to get the opposition, know how to go against it. Because I had a scripture that came to my mind when I was going over scriptures, and the Judges not too long ago, and it just came to my memory when the Most High did this with the nation of Israel with the Canaanites.
Right. During
the time of Judges. I'm gonna read Judges chapter 3, verse 1 and 2 in the NLT. These are the nations that the Lord left in the land to test those Israelites who had not experienced the wars of Canaan.
Right, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Most High left them in there. And to do what? To test us, to try us using these nations that he left in the land. Because they didn't know about resistance and having a fight to get the things that they desired. Because throughout the wilderness, the Most High had to make us go through and defeat our enemies, come together, work against our enemies to go against that resistance. Verse 2, he did this to teach warfare to the generations of Israelites who had no experience in battle. These are the nations, Philistines, those living under the 5 Philistine rulers, all the Canaanites, the Sidonians, the Hivites living in the mountains of Lebanon, and Mount Baal, Hermon, and Lebo Hamath. And you see, in verse 1, it says the Most High is the one who did that.
Yeah, the Most High. So he uses the enemy to try us.
Right.
Right? So sometimes the enemy is coming at you to test you. It's a test to see how your integrity. What happens when you're challenged? Like the mighty captain was bringing out, when everything is just handed to you, it's easy.
Right.
Right? What happens when you challenge, though? Can you step up to the challenge? Or are you just going to crumble? Right? The Most High wants to test your integrity. He's going to send the enemy. He did it to Yahushua on the mountain. He sent Satan to Yahushua to test his integrity. Is he going to give in? Is he going to give up? So we're no different. So sometimes your enemy is sent to you for your blessing if you are able to stand up against it.
Right.
Right. But that's why knowing the art of war is so important. Because no matter what your enemy, whatever the reason for your enemy coming to you, you always have to get the victory. Right? The victory is always towards Yahweh, right? Towards what's right. That's where the victory lies. Right? So some quotes out of, matter of fact, before we go into the book, let's get a track going. Because this is a discussion. This is a time for us to think and dwell and understand what is it the Most High wants for us. So before we get into the art of war, the book, I want to play another track for y'all. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Let's get it.
Hey. Shout out ASAP on the engineering. Shout out to Ruddy J on the beat. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. What? Check me out. 7-12, 7-8, I hit the earth. All praises to the Father for my birth, like the frankincense and myrrh. Now it's fringes on my shirt, cause I put the Father first. Kick my friends to the curb, then I swerve. Ricky Bobby in the streets with the scripts for the lost sheep like Uber Eats, Mask off, I got faith in Hamashiach. Blast off into space in the chariots. Fornication with the nations got us waiting for salvation. Just be patient, milk and honey, I can taste it, And where the priest behind. You don't know where you going unless you know where you come from. Convicted in my spirit, I spit it and they hear it. The 12 tribes love it, the other nations fear it and clear it. I'ma spit until it's over with.
Well, it's cold, hell is hot. Prosper in the law, call it jackpot. Never sell your soul, this is food for thought. Martyr for the Lord, Hebrew juggernaut. I got the bow, I got the hammer. Trust in the Lord, never trust the drummer. We in the slugs, we in the sticks. On the corners where them brothers drop a couple bricks. Matthias with the law, if you live in the sin, the spirit gon' burn with the skin that you win. And the Lord ain't your friend if you really don't repent. He might just forgive, but it really just depends. You keep going off again and again. You should really chase the kingdom, but you rather buy them rims. If you living as a criminal, the Lord apprehend. Cause you love living wicked just to chase some dividends. Please don't hold that L cause we looking for wins. I hold my head high as that boat starts to bend. You running out of time, bro, don't be a fool. You drowning in your sins, don't drown in the pool. You love living high, but I call that thing a crack rock. Bring the smoke to the room, I guess that's a hot pop. He ruined my blood, I'm born in Florida. If you keep sinning, boy, it's nice knowing you. Better grab the tool, Angels can be cruel, don't be stupid, they will kill you. Better live your life on the wise, unfamiliar. Love the 100 lives of the life that we still there. I be like, oh yeah, Israelite, oh yeah. Speaking only truth in the booth, I'm a truth bearer. Let your light shine, you'll be fasting up the Lord's Prayer. If you deny, you might die for these nightmares. You was born away, not to live in sin. Where you go repent, it's not now the win. Patient wearing thin, sin is not the trend. You was born away, not to live in sin. Where you go repent, it's not now the win. Patient wearing thin, sin is not the trend.
What you say, Kadash, sin is not the trend. I'll keep right, but it's a wave that's slave to your sin. It's cool to break the laws, lit to turn on God. That's what they show you till you see it's really a facade. Shout out my brothers in this walk, we moving like the mob. And when I'm going off, they let me know I'm going off. Homie, sure, I think you doing too much showing off. My dog got killed off of jealousy, he like the floss. Exodus 2017, that's really us. Our people strung out on amphetamine, smoking weed ain't enough. That's why we on them street corners right there by the bus. Doing the work of y'all, my brother, that's a must. I had to learn temptation is bigger than some lust. I'm in this walk forever, my nigga, till I'm dust. And every time I understand the scripture, it's a rush.
Away, not to live in sin. Where you go repent, it's not now the win. Patient wearing thin, sin is not the trend. You was born away, not to live in sin. Where you go repent, it's not now the win. Patient wearing thin, sin is not the trend. You
That's it, boy. All right, clap it up for him. Kadash coming in with the whole LOZ crew, the family. Got those tracks, got that music. With that music, you can't lose with it, man. You can't lose with it. All right, so we're gonna keep it moving and pushing in this great topic, man. The art of war. And we're gonna see what this it's just a reference book on battle and war and things. You might have heard of this book. It's critically acclaimed. A lot of people talk about this book. It's a well-known book. It's not written by a Hebrew Israelite, so it's not about an Israelite thing. It's just about a war thing. It's about a war and how to, approach battles the right way. Sometimes we want to hit everything head on like a bull, but that's not always the best way of winning the battle. You know what I mean? When I was coming up, there was two boxes. There's two boxes that come into mind that when it comes to the art of war. Somebody might know Muhammad Ali. He was known for something called the rope-a-dope, right? The rope-a-dope. That's what he called it, the rope-a-dope. And what essentially he would do, because he was in such great shape, when he had an opponent that was stronger than him, he would allow the opponent to wear himself out trying to hit him, but he wouldn't let them land square, right? He'd let him hit him on his arms, on his sides, but he would never let him get him in his vital parts, his head, and he would let them, and he would roll, and he would bounce off the rope. And every time they would hit him, he would fall back, absorb the blow, and bounce off the rope. And it became the rope-a-dope. And what he would essentially do is wear that stronger boxer out. And when he see he don't have that same energy, he turn on the jets. And then he turn and wear him out. So sometimes you gotta wear your enemy out. You gotta let them wear themselves out. You don't gotta tackle everything they gotta say or tackle everything they do. Let them wear themselves. Let them think that they're winning sometimes. The guy will be punching and punching and punching. You know another boxer that does that? Floyd Mayweather.
Right. He makes you into
it
right
it's
here.
called the shoulder roll. You keep punching him, but all you getting is his shoulder, and he rolls off your punch. So the punch never really affects him that much. Meanwhile, you thinking you winning, you thinking you tired him. But now you're getting tired. And when he see that your punches slow down, it's on. Now I got you. So sometimes the art of war is play possum a little while. Hold it back. Don't always come at it like a bull, but take your time with it. Build, let that person go ahead and while they feel like they got the full strength. And when they wear it down, take them out. What we got here in the book?
Actually, remember the scripture, just to sum it all, it's 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 to 4. For we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to the pulling down of strongholds. Because even in war is not won through speed, strength, or anything like that. It's won through strategy and tactics. Mm-hmm. Right? In other words, in this truth, it's the ability to be able to recognize the strength and be able to manipulate and control that strength and make it do what you want it to do. Right? So that's just what I wanted to say.
That's beautiful, man. Because like we always say, the white man's our enemy, right? We know he's our enemy. But we're not gonna go storm the White House. We're not going to line up, get the guns and storm the White House. That would be futile. He's stronger than we are, right? When it comes to military might, when it comes to the sword and the gun. But we're smarter than him mentally. So meanwhile, while we're in his kingdom, we're destroying his kingdom by shining our light everywhere we go. We're breaking his kingdom down. We're causing our Father, which is stronger than everything, to be in favor with us. Because when Yah is in favor with us, who can stand against us?
Right.
So our greatest the way we fight this battle, this war, is we make sure our Father is good with us. And then we meticulously break and chip away at his kingdom. Before you know it, his kingdom is topsy-turvy now. It's not solid. It's on shallow ground right now. It could fall over at any moment right now, because of the work that the children of Israel have been doing in their minds and their bodies and their hearts and their souls and their families and their lives. The work you've been doing to shine that light is destroying this dark kingdom, right? So what's this guy talking about again now?
All right. This is the page, I'm going to read from page 12 to verse 14, to page 14.
Kind of, for the disclaimer, right? We are not advertising this book or the publisher, right? As it's written in here, you should put it in the chat. But it is something that you could read just to know how to win a battle. Just to know how strategies, like the captain wanted, just to know some different strategies. Go ahead.
Chapter 3, page 12 of the art of war. Attack by stratagem. Thank you. Attack by stratagem. Sun Tzu said, in the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. Mm-hmm. To shatter and to destroy it, not so good. Mm-hmm. So too, it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them. Mm-hmm.
Right, because you go and you destroy your enemy. Now you got this mess to clean up, right? Now you got all this destruction to deal with. So sometimes it's smarter. It's like somebody, let's say you got an enemy at your job, and you wild out, right? You bring all the heat down on that department now, right? Now you got a problem with your supervisor. You bring the heat to the department. Now executives is coming down. They want to know what's going on in the whole department. Right? Now the whole department destroyed. As a matter of fact, they see all the problems down here. They dismantle the whole department. Everybody's out of a job because you had a beef with this person. Right? You could have used wisdom and say, let me deal with this person slow and steady. Right? And let me win the department from around this person and then expose him. Right? Sometimes you got to win the people around that person. And that's what, that's a way that not Esau, but Sun Tzu is saying here is that don't create more of a problem. Don't create more of a mess trying to take your enemy out. Right? Better you take him whole. Meaning that you take away all his borders so that you capture him whole. So he's functioning. So now you can absorb that function. Kind of what Esau did to us coming out of slavery. Right? He said, I'm gonna let y'all come out. I'm gonna emancipate. I'm gonna set the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation, and free you from the bonds and tyranny of slavery. And now you gotta come back and work in the same fields. And I'm not gonna pay you enough for you to prosper. Right? But at least you feel like you're free. But I still destroy you. Right? But you want to say something?
No, I was gonna say like you can even look at it for us through captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Esau can continue bringing the hammer on us and continue having this hardcore slavery, and eventually, with the fear will dwindle away. Then we're gonna get bold. Then he's gonna have to deal with more rebellions versus like the rebellion that happened in Jamaica, Haiti. Then he's gonna have to deal with he can't sleep at night. Instead of trying to destroy them and going to war with them, let's just get them up here, right? Let's get them docile. Let's get them here and want to be here so they can work for us willingly, right? Esau attacked us and went to war with us. He used his strategy to attack us up here, right? Instead of just going physically, just get us up here mentally. Now he just conquered us up here.
Now we can't even see that he's our enemy.
Right.
He
kept the city intact, like I said right here.
Kept the city intact, man. He didn't tear down our walls. He said, "Nah, have your walls, but pay me for them now."
Right.
I'm not gonna destroy you. Why?
Get the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
And make sure you pay that insurance.
Go get that money. Right? You're gonna give it back to me anyway. You're gonna build me anyway. Matter of fact, you're gonna love me when you start getting that money. You're gonna no longer see me as your enemy.
Right.
Meanwhile, I still have you in captivity. Meanwhile, you're still locked in the dungeon. But the dungeon became your home, right? Now the dungeon became home. Now the dungeon, it's like the scriptures say, we embrace dunghills. Right? Now we love the hood. Before our people used to speak against the conditions of our people, how they had to live in these hard conditions. Now, we call it home. We glorify it in the music. We glorify it in our culture. We make it like it's a good thing, right? But it's not a good thing. It never was a good thing. But it becomes home now. Yeah, I'm from Deep Side. I'm from Shallow Side. I'm from Liberty City. That's how we get down in Brownsville. We keep it real in Brownsville. No, that's not keeping it real. That's keeping it, that's messed up. That's a messed up way to live, right? Where's your peace? Right. You see drugs being slain outside. You don't think Esau see it being done? Of course he see it. He let us do it. Because who are we selling drugs to but our own people? So that's the art of war right there. He sat back and allowed us to implode and destroy ourselves by cutting off the avenues to doing anything greater than be a glorified slave. Can't do nothing greater. Right. One thing we was out there in the festival camp, One thing I noticed about our people is that we got some money, man. We saw every rim, every vehicle, every $100,000 setups in these cars, right? All kind of toys. Our people spend copious amounts of money on folly.
Right, it looked like a watered down Freaknik. What's going on?
Was it watered down? Because it was right up there with that.
All the hood stars was there.
The hood stars was there. Prada and Gucci was showed up. Everything was there. And our people is in the hood. The houses is torn down. Some of the houses, I'm looking at the houses, I don't know how they're standing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They bought it up with wood falling over, but meanwhile, there's a Range Rover parked in the front with a customized speaker system and lights and all kinds of stuff. Speaker system so loud, you can't even hear yourself think. But the streets is all tore up. Right? People high and drunk out of their mind. Not taking care of things that's important. But what? They had that glory. Why? Because Esau used a great strategy against our people, man. Right? Matter of fact, let's get that strategy. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Let's get that strategy. Right? Because it's written about in the scriptures. The strategy that was used against us. Sometimes you gotta see what was used against us to know how to go against our enemy. We can use back that same strategy against them. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which thou the one shall sin against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So now, what our enemy did was he made us put himself in a position that we need him. Right? When your enemy needs you, can they really be your enemy anymore? They gotta come to you, right? So you gotta think about that. When your enemy needs you, can he really be your enemy anymore? When he needs you for the necessities, food, drink, covering, right? If you were providing this for the nations, could they really be against you? You see, they can be against you now. Why? Because they got their own and you got your own. But what happens when we got to depend on each other? Can we be enemies? No. It don't make sense. Half it up, like when you do the scriptures, like make us larger. There you go. Right? Can they really be our enemy? No. Right? Matter of fact, they gotta friend it up now. Right? You know.
Thou shalt serve thy enemies, which thou the one shall sin against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
Right?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So now, while you're in need of all these things, he kindly put that yoke of iron on your neck. Because now you can't survive without him. He took away your ability to survive on your own. Now you can't survive without him. You know what now? I'm going to put this yoke of iron on your neck. Just if you try to go do something on your own, you're not going to be able to do it. Right? That's physical and that's mental. Right? He did it to us physically until he did it to us mentally. We're going to read on.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Right, so now that yoke went from our neck to our brain. Now we're destroyed. Now we can't even see the kingdom without the white man.
Right.
We don't think nothing is validated if he doesn't validate it. Right? In this society, I can't even, listen, if you want to call a child your child, you need a birth certificate.
Right.
That proves this is your child. Right? You need to sign his document that says this is your child. The fact that you laid with this woman and had a child, that doesn't matter until his document says that you're the father. Right? How they say, mother's babies, father's maybes. Right? Right? Mother's baby, father maybe. Because unless he's there, nobody don't know. Did he sign the birth certificate? Well, then he's not the father. We're so quick to let the white man determine who we are. What's it? You can't marry your wife. You can marry your wife according to the scriptures. Take her to your house, help her grow with her, have a family with her, and everything. And he will come to your house and tell you that's not your wife. if you don't have no papers in the court system, right? If you didn't sign his marriage license and certificate, right? So he has put himself in between everything that's natural to do in man, woman, and child, right? He interjected himself in between everything that we cannot even do our own thing without his validation. At least we think we can. He messed with our minds. We think we can, but we actually can, right? We actually can create our own covenants, set our own laws, make our own papers, right? Like the brother, I think the brother was Kashad came to us and was talking about, you know, these different certificates and how they take out insurance. Every time we sign with them, like birth certificate, they take out insurance. They make money off of us being born. And if we can do it ourselves, right? He was bringing that out. We can have our own certificate that now gives us the right to take out the insurance on that child, right? So there's a lot of things that's happening out there. The Most High is revealing it slowly but surely. I leave it up to the scholars to tell me. I'm not telling you to go out there and don't sign the birth certificate by all means. But there are ways around these entities, these things that Esau set up in our lives.
They're going to say Chief Minister
said. Right? Chief Minister said don't sign it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you wait on the scholars of our people, right, to give us the blueprint so that we can move forward and further sever ourselves from this society. Because remember, the first rule of dealing with your enemy is creating that distance between you and him, right? The second rule we read about now is don't let your enemy have rule over you or put you in a position of need, right? Because he did it to us as a people, and by doing that to us, he destroyed us, right? He destroyed us. Now we got to go to him to learn how to read, right? And do math. And what he do? He teaches about homosexuality, right? We came here to learn about 1 + 1 = 2. We came to learn about the vowels, A-E-I-O-U.
He's pushing his agenda to destroy.
And he's pushing us to know that Sally got 2 mamas or Jimmy got 2 daddies. They're holding hands, they're kissing, and it's okay, right? How does he interject himself in that? He puts himself in between. So now you came for one thing, he's serving you what you need and serving you what you don't need, what you don't even want, right? He's made the food is supposed to nourish us. He takes the nourishment out the food and gives us food that don't nourish us, wonder why we sick. So he can have his hospitals. So he can have your hospice. You know what hospice means? It means you're waiting to die. That's why it calls hospitals. Those hospitals are made for you to go in there so you can wait to die, to prolong your life, not to heal you. Or they'll be called healing centers, right? They'll be calling healing buildings. They're not called healing buildings. They're calling hospitals. Meaning that I'm just gonna slow down your death. Okay. So all of these things, we start to have to notice our enemy is all around us. And we gotta start using some of his tactics against him. But we're gonna go into that, shortly. How to use his tactics against him. All right. You gotta be so angry with him. You gotta put him in a position that he needs you. All right. Like I always tell everybody, I tell the young brothers that come up to school, everything, get certified, get licensed, get a skill, get a trade, know how to do something when they need you instead of you needing them. Right? You don't want to put yourself in a position where you got to constantly beg them for something.
Right.
Well, now you got to beg them to keep the Sabbath day. You got to beg them for everything. No, you can put yourself in a position that you have a scholar, you have scholarly created intelligence that makes you self-sufficient, right? That makes you able to do business on another level. Or you have a skill or a craft that puts you in a position that now they have to come to you. And now you looking at them like, okay, now you need me. You know what I mean? That's the best way to deal with your enemy. Right? Now you got to pay me. Now you need me. I'll let you know when I'm available and when I'm not. Right? That puts power back in your hand. Okay? that puts power back in your hand. When you build your families, teach your children to educate your children and let them come to you for the right answer. When your children look at the teacher like he's smarter than you, we got a problem.
Right.
They go to the school system, the teacher's smarter than their parents. Parents, teach your children. Be their first educators so they look at you as somebody that has wisdom, right? Somebody they can learn from. Because they want to learn everything from the white man going to teach them everything, all right? Oh, yes, he will, right? He's going to teach them American history. He's going to teach them European history, right? And he's going to teach them how to be, right, a homosexual. Right? That's part of what it is, right? He's going to teach you how to be a freak, right? Along with being this, he's going to teach you that too. So your first teachers is supposed to be your parents, man. Parents, you got to be able to teach. You got to put that time in. Educate, right? Illuminate the minds of your children. And that's the women and the mothers and the fathers this falls on. You can't say it's his job, it's her job. It's both of y'all job. All right? It's both of y'all job. When we read about Lemuel, what's that? Proverbs 31, his mom taught him.
Right.
Things that he needed to know. Right. So let's start to cut these ties to our enemies. Right? We always talk about FUBU, forest bias. Right? That's another thing we got to do with our enemies. We got to start providing for each other. We can't stop going to him for everything. Because when we go to him for everything, can he really be your enemy? Can you really stand up against him when you got to beg him for something in the next minute? You got to think about that. Can I really stand up against you if I need you? That's hard to do that.
Keep running to them.
Yeah, we got to keep running to them. Right? I understand we in captivity. We're not trying to reverse the curse. Well, we are trying to reverse the curse. We're not trying to act like we're not under the curse.
Right.
Because we are under the curse and we accept our punishment. But we don't have to get so comfortable. We're getting too comfortable being slaves in this captivity. We're too comfortable having everything provided for us. When are we going to provide for our own? Right? So we got to get out of that comfort zone. We got to step out of that box. All right? So, all things to think about, because our enemy, he wishes to destroy us. But the Most High, he going to stand and he going to fight for us. He going to fight against all our adversaries. All right? I would say 1 Peter 5:8.
There's a little bit more.
Okay, we're going to read more out of the book, then we're going to get 1 Peter 5:8. Go ahead.
It is not so good. So too, it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. Mm-hmm. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them. Hence, to fight and conquer in all their battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. That's heavy right there.
Did that again.
Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting.
Right. Without even fighting. Right. Break your enemy's resistance without even fighting. Right. That reminds me of a verse where it says, better is wisdom than the mighty. Better is I think it's wisdom than the man that taketh the city.
Proverbs 16:32.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
He's slow to anger is better than the mighty, right? And he that ruleth his spirit, and he that taketh the city.
Con.
And that's it. I'm reading it again.
That goes right with that scripture right there.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 32.
Go ahead.
He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty.
Right. He that's slow to anger. I mean that person that don't trip, he is better than what? That mighty that ready to pull out swords and cut everybody up. The one that's slow to trip is better. Why? Read on.
And he that ruleth his spirit,
right, has control of himself. Read on.
Then he that taketh a city.
Right, because he can take all the cities if he's thinking wisely. You don't lose his cool. If he's not hot-headed and hot-tempered, right? Sometimes the one that stays cool, you can think how to take over the whole situation. instead of just running in and battling because you're going to run out of gas, right? So what the book is saying matches up with that scripture, because the book was saying it's better to get the victory without even a fight. Right? Better to change the heart of your enemy.
Matter of fact, that's in the Torah. Now I remember. Musa shows us that principle in the Torah.
Come. Another scripture that's coming to mind is when the man's ways please the Most High, he will make his enemies to be at peace with him. Right? Meaning that sometimes you don't gotta fight. Sometimes the Most High will make your enemies want to work for you, want to work for your benefit. Right? What you got?
In Deuteronomy 20 and 10, when thou comest now unto a city to fight against it,
right?
Then proclaim peace unto it.
Do what?
Proclaim peace unto it.
So you're going to go take over a city. The first thing you do is proclaim peace. Meaning that, listen, I'm coming to take over the city, but I'm not going to hurt nobody. I'm not going to destroy
terms, right?
You need to turn your things over to me, and I'll leave, and everybody will live in harmony. Matter of fact, I can rule your city better. Read on.
And it should be, if it make thee answer of peace and open up unto thee, then it should be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee.
Right, so everybody's going to pay you taxes because they're going to be a part of you. So now they're going to lay their swords down. They're going to say, you know what? You can come take over. We need you because you're going to run our city better than us. Read on.
And they shall serve thee.
Mm-hmm.
And if it will make no peace with thee.
If it tell you get out of here, I ain't open up no gate to you, you know.
But we'll make war against thee.
All right, but matter of fact, I'm gonna get my boys and we're gonna handle this, you know, the right way.
Then thou shalt besiege it.
Mm-hmm.
And when the other one Yahweh has delivered into thy hand, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword.
So basically, you only fight when you have to fight.
Right.
You only fight when you have to fight. You should not want to fight. But you always gotta want to win. You don't always have to fight to win. Sometimes you just gotta be patient. Sometimes you gotta be cunning and smart to subdue the enemy and get him out of the way. Satan, always come at you directly. When he come at you, matter of fact, he come at you with your own voice.
Right.
When Satan speak to you, he speak to you with your own voice. Sometimes you don't even know what's Satan. Sometimes you think this is my thoughts. That's your thoughts. Satan entered into your body. And it's caused you to feel the way you feel. But you're not hearing it, you're hearing your own voice. You're hearing your own thoughts. So we have to be mindful of Satan and his tricks, his trickery. Right? I think it said his greatest, Satan's greatest achievement is to have you think he don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
To hide his, to appear
2 Corinthians 11:13. I got you.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
To appear to be like a child of light. That's what Satan want to do. He wants to make you think you right, but you dead wrong. Think you justified, and you about to kill yourself.
Right.
But Satan is our ultimate enemy. He is our ultimate enemy. Read that.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14. No marvel.
Start with
13?
Yeah.
Verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers,
right?
Transforming themselves into the apostles of the Mashiach.
Right, so there's apostles out there. People that's supposed to be doing the right thing, supposed to be teaching you about God, but they're not teaching you about God. They teach you about man, right? Right? They're supposed to be teaching about Christ, but they're not teaching about Christ. They teach about their own feelings. All right, read on.
And no marvel, for Satan himself,
read,
is transformed into an angel of light.
Is transformed into an angel of light. Satan himself is transformed to an angel of light. So Satan can be coming to you and you thinking that this person or this entity is something good. This spirit is for me, and it really is not for you. It's actually trying to destroy you. And the reason why you can determine that is by the laws, statutes, and commandments. Because Satan does not want us to keep God's laws. When something is influencing you to break God's laws, that's the spirit of Satan. Man, heavy stuff coming out. Right, the Art of War. Heavy stuff coming out. We're gonna drop another track. When I come back from this track, I want, matter of fact, Cap, put the link in the chat right now. While we play the video, we want someone to come on stage and tell us how they've battled against Satan, how they've seen the wiles of Satan, and how they can use this information to win the battle. Right? If you got a battle with Shaitan going on in your world, let's talk about it. Let's get some facts, and let's get the scriptures out, and this art of war real time. So if you had a battle with Satan, bring it to the forefront so we can go into these scriptures and get some victory. Now you could be anonymous, or you could be, you don't have to show your video. You can show your video. It doesn't matter. You could be forefront, right? You could say it's a friend. You could anything. We're not trying to get nobody gossip or no business, but we got to know that as a family, we all have to battle against Satan. All right. So we're gonna bring up a video, another hot track. We're gonna bring up another hot track. I'll move on to the next one, fam. Let's skip to the next one. Another hot track, line it up.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Look, ain't no remorse in my blood cell. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. and sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new pair of bellows. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a
Education.
They killed. Give me Isaiah.
Yes, we're back in the building. Got paid back as a dog. We're back in the building. Payback is a dog. That's that ISUPK. As you can see, the brothers are always rolling deep. The brothers well fed over there, boy. I tell you, them big boys over there. Shout out to the whole ISUPK family. Doing the music thing, because the music thing is important, right? Galatians 4:16, Baruch Hashem. Galatians 4:16. All right, because we got to band together. We got to know our friends from our enemies. We got to know who should we be warring against, how we war, the art of war. Very important that we understand this, right? Because we can get caught up and tripped up, wanting to run into the battle, swinging swords. This is not that battle. This is a battle to hold back, use strategy, use wisdom to get the victory. Read what you got.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4, verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Verse 15.
Verse 15. Where is then the blessedness you speak of? You spake of. For I bear you record that if it had been possible,
right,
you would have plucked out your own eyes and given them to me.
Right. So you say, man, look, y'all used to be down with me, Paul said.
Right.
Right? I'm giving y'all instruction. Y'all used to, you would have plucked your eye out and gave it to me at one time. We good brats. So sometimes people that you're close with become your enemy. Why? Because they trying to instruct, or they trying to rebuke you, or trying to educate you on something, and then people take it personal. And when they take it personal, they become enemies. When the person was only looking out for your good. Sometimes there's an enemy that shouldn't be your enemy. All right. Not everyone against you is your enemy. Sometimes you got to look at what they're trying to do. Here, Paul is saying, you guys, we were so cool, you'd have plucked your eye out and gave it to me at one time. But now what? Read.
Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Because I'm trying to correct you. A lot of times people, they look at you like an enemy just because you try to correct them. Right? Correction should not make two people into enemies. If correction is needed, correction should be given. Right? So analyzing your enemy, knowing who your real enemy is and who's not your enemy, right, is very important. Right? Because sometimes people are made enemies. Give me Psalms 69 and verse 4. Some people are made enemies when they shouldn't be enemies. They made enemies wrongfully. Okay. It's like a child hates their parents because their parents discipline them. Right? How you gonna hate your parents because they discipline you? Right. That's not a real enemy. That's not really your enemy. Your enemy is whatever you was trying to do that eventually would have destroyed you. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 69, verse 4. They that hate me without a cause.
Without what?
Without a cause.
People hating on you without a cause. You didn't do the person nothing. They hating on you. Go ahead.
Are more than the hairs of my head.
So bad.
They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty.
Or what?
Are mighty.
Being my enemies what?
Are mighty.
Well, before that,
being my enemy wrongfully.
Being my enemies wrongfully. I mean, I haven't done these people nothing. I haven't done them nothing. They became my enemies wrongfully, right? And they mighty. So he let him know he was in a bad situation. You know what's happening to David? You understand? The sword entered into David's house. So people that should have been his family was coming against him, right? Family members coming against him. I don't know if anybody experienced that. Family members coming against you. They're supposed to be your body. They're supposed to be your blood. They coming against you, right? Wrongfully. He haven't done them nothing.
Childhood friends, his priests,
You know what I'm
his
saying?
counselors.
He ain't do them nothing, right? But he had all this conflict going on in the crib, right? Hold on and get Matthew 10, verse 34, because Yahushua prophesied about this. Matthew 10, verse 34. Yahushua prophesied about that. About, those that should have been and should be your confidants, your peoples, your down, family, now become enemies. Not because you wrongfully did something to them, but because why? That truth came in. Like Paul said, have I become your enemy because I teach you the truth? Like David said, how you wrongfully, you hate on me wrongfully. Meaning you have no reason to hate on me. Read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
Think not that I come to send peace on earth.
Right.
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Mm-hmm.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
What does variance mean? It means there's a conflict. Christ said, I have come to set a man against his father. I thought Christ was supposed to bring everybody together.
Right.
No, Christ is coming to bring all the righteous together. So if a man is against his father, meaning that his father may not want to keep these law, statute, commandments. And that's going to cause a problem. That's going to create an enemy that should have been a friend. Read on.
And the daughter against her mother.
Right? This is family. Read.
And so and against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And a man's foes should be they of their own household.
And a man's foes should be them of his own household, his own fam becomes his foes. Read.
He that loveth father or mother more than me.
But you see, Mosai says he don't care. Basically what he's saying. Mosai said, look, you got problems with your family because of these laws? Well, don't love them more than me. Don't turn your back on these commandments because your family got a problem with them. Don't turn your back on my word because your father, your family, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister got another word in their mouth. You don't turn your back on me. That's what Yahushua is saying here. Because if you love them more than you love me, we got a problem. So bring it back, bro. Set it up. Okay. Go ahead, read.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me.
Sometimes when taking your cross, the cross is a representation of pain. It's a representation of anguish, problems, embarrassment. That's what the cross represents. So when he says you take up your cross, meaning that what? You go through the pain, the problems, the embarrassment of being righteous in a wicked world, or being righteous in a wicked family, or being righteous in a wicked community. Because everybody's going to be down on you. Yeah, they're your enemies, but they shouldn't be your enemies. Right? We have natural born enemies. These other nations, they're supposed to be our enemy. Our brothers and sisters not supposed to be our enemy, but oftentimes it happens. Mm-hmm. But this is an enemy that we deal with a different way according to scriptures. Read.
He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Mm-hmm. What verse is that?
Verse 39.
We'll read it 42.
He that receiveth you receiveth me.
Right.
And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
Right.
He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward.
Right.
And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man should receive a righteous man's reward.
All right, so stay righteous. You're going to get the reward for being righteous. Right? Anybody that receives you, your righteousness, they're going to be blessed too. They want to reject you, they're not just rejecting you, they're rejecting the Most High. Read.
And whosoever should give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
He shall not lose his reward, man, if you just look out for the righteous. So we got to look out for each other, look out for the righteous family, because they deserve to be looked out for. All right? Let me get Matthew 5:38. So this is a different type of enemy. This is the enemy of your family. This is the enemy that's set against you and your righteousness. You can't deal with them like you deal with the worldly enemies, right? But you still got to stand up and put up for resistance. 38. 5:38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 38. Ye have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth.
Come on.
But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil. But whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also.
Right, so Martin Luther King tried to pull this verse dealing with the white man, right? This is not a verse to deal with the white man. This is talking about your family, your brethren. Jump up to the 21st verse. Let's see what it's talking about. It's not talking about everybody, right? They take this verse and ran with it. Talking about, yeah, let us beat you up in the streets. Let us sick the dogs on you. No, right? Read.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 21. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. So like whosoever should kill should be in danger of the judgment.
Right.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother,
with what?
With his brother.
With his brother, read.
Without a cause.
Without a cause, go ahead.
Shall be in danger of the judgment.
Right. So these are scriptures pertaining to your brother. These other nations ain't our brothers, man. This is pertaining to your fam. This is how to deal with issues within your household, within your community, within your body. That's how this is what these scriptures are dealing with. Right? This is not talking about the other. It's talking about your brother.
I got a piece of the proof who your brother is.
Right.
The book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart, thy brother in thine heart.
Read on.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Thy who?
Thy neighbor.
So your brother and your neighbor is the same thing. Read on.
And not suffer sin upon him.
Right. Don't let him sin. Right.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children.
Who?
The children.
The children. Read
of thy people.
Right. So it's not for everybody. People read these scriptures and think it applies to everybody. These type of enemies is your fam is talking about. This is your people, right? Right. The ones that you should be connected with, the ones that you should be friends with, the ones that you should have good rapport with. If you don't have a good rapport with them, we got to deal with that a different way. So when he's talking about was turn the other cheek and all that, that wasn't talking about your natural born enemies. Right? That's not talking about the other nations. That's not talking about the evil and the wicked even of your own people. Right? This is talking about your, especially in this time we're living in, this is talking about your fellow repentant brother and sister. Right? Really? Because there's a divide. This is talking about your repentant brother and sister that might be slipping, that might be doing the wrong thing right now. That's the one you deal with this way, because that's the one that's gonna benefit off you dealing with them this way. But if you got the wicked about people out in the street, you lay down for them, they're gonna trample you, right? And they're gonna get nothing out of it, and you're gonna be trampled, and they're gonna keep it moving. But when it comes to your brother, your sister in this word, they shouldn't trample you. They should hear your plea, see your softness, and return it back onto you by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. That's how you know this is dealing with family. This is dealing with those that's looking at the same book together, that's trying to serve the same God together, right? What verse were you just reading in Matthew?
Matthew 5:21.
21. Jump back down to 39. I just went up there to show you that this is talking about brothers. It ain't talking about others. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 39.
So we have no souls that jumped on the line yet. No souls on the line.
Here's a brother who asked a question.
Well, they got to come on up. Hit the link in the chat. Come up and ask your question. All right, don't be scared. All right, come up, ask your question. Hit the link in the chat. It'll bring you right into the room. Come up and ask your question. They get a link. The link is set up again. Come up and ask your question. The link is in the chat. Read. What's the precept to Revelation 7 and 9? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 39. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil.
Right.
But whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek,
right,
turn to him the other also.
Come on.
And if any man will sue thee at the law, take away thy coat.
Right.
Let him have thy coat, cloak also.
Right. The cloak is that cape that you wear over your coat.
Right.
He said, you want to take my coat? Take my coat. And take my cloak also. Because I'm going to try to win you over. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? You want to, how does people say, sometimes you do good to someone treating you wrong, you're going to heap hot coals in their head. They got to get right. They're going to come back to you to realize how wicked they was towards you. Right? And you didn't even defend yourself. Read.
And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain.
Right, dude. Go with him. Right? Double. Read.
Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away.
So he's just talking about, this is all laws for brotherhood, sisterhood, how to deal in the spirit of the Most High. Even though we have conflicts in the body, we can't be evil towards each other. When it comes to dealing with these nations, that's your natural born enemy. You don't owe them nothing, right? But when it comes to dealing with your brother, your sister that's in this word, especially your repentant brother and sister, then we owe them a chance to get right, right? And that's how we deal with the foes of our people that's in this word, right? That's in this word. And very crucial, we understand the difference of the different types of enemy. Not all enemies are the same, all right? Let me see that on 1 John 4:20. That's up in the chat, and then Matthew 28:15. All good verses. Who has questions? Come on up if you got questions. All right, I see your question, Jamal. All you got to do is click the chat. Come on up, come on live. Right, you don't have to show your face. You can put up an emoji, and you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Go ahead.
The book of 1 John, chapter 4, and verse 20.
Come on.
If a man say, I love Yahweh, and hateth his brother,
and does what?
And hateth his brother,
or his sister, go ahead.
He is a liar.
He's a what?
A liar.
Right, so we can't even really love the Most High, having hate and conflict and being enemies to one another in this truth. We can't really say we love the Most High. A lot of people quick to say they hate somebody, but you got to think about that, right? You got to really think about that. Right? Sometimes we hate what we do to each other, but if that child is a repentant soul towards Yahweh, we got to always give her a chance. We always got to give him a chance.
The brother's on there.
All right, he's up on there. All right, let's get that question. What's the name of that?
King Yuan. Come, you on, brother.
Shalom. Yeah, the Revelation 7:9. I was just trying to find some precepts to the people, tongues, and nations.
What's your understanding? What's your current understanding on it?
I just know it as the lexicon says the kindred is the Israelites of the same nation, and we just dispersed all over the planet, like James 1:1. But I need to prove it, and I can't prove it right now.
So, you need more precepts besides James 1:1?
You said what?
You need more precepts besides James 1:1?
Yeah, because it don't say kindred, instead of just say James 1:1 says we everywhere, all over the earth. But I was just trying to find some words that says kindreds, tongues, and people.
Okay, so we could break it down right now, and we'll give you an understanding on it right now, and then we'll just start off from step 1 for everybody that's tuning in right now. So the thing about the word kindred, you don't necessarily have to get the precept that says the word kindred. You just have to give the understanding on how these people that are dispersed are the Israelites. So it doesn't necessarily have to be kindred, right? So
Right.
we start off from the top for those that's watching right now. Give me 1 second. Right, so let's go and read Revelation 7:9 first. After this I beheld, and lo, it's like here. Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen. 1 second. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all the nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and psalms in their hands. Of course, when Christians go here, they believe that that's talking about many other nations as one nation under God, the new church, Gentiles and heathens and etc. Right? So what we'll do is we'll go straight into the language like the brother mentioned and go into the Greek, where this was translated from, right?
Right.
Bring me up off the backstage.
Yeah. I went into that lexicon. I got that.
Give me 1 second, King.
All right.
All right, Cud. Hallelujah. All right, I'm in the building. All right, so let's talk about it. Go ahead. First of all, the water for calling in.
No problem.
All right. All right, let's get it.
Khan. So the word for kindred, like the brother said, is phile in the Greek, right? So that word kindred in Revelation 79, it says a tribe. In the New Testament, every single time this word is used in the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 tribes, one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. So every time you see this word, it's always going to regard the nation of Israel. Always. So that lets you know already, going into the language, this is only strictly dealing with Israelites. So we're going to get a couple of precepts that you could use to prove is dealing with the nation of Israel, showing that the Israel is dispersed. Because you don't have to get a verse that says kindred, right? You just have to prove that it's the Israelites that was dispersed, that was prophesied to be dispersed, and that's prophesied to come back and be gathered back to the Most High God. That's the point that you got to prove. The Israelites being dispersed and the Most High gathering them. Because the only nation the Most High prophesies he would disperse, then regather, is the nation of Israel.
Right.
So we're going to get one right here real quick, which is in Deuteronomy 4:27. And you got the floor anytime you want, Chief.
Yeah, I got a precept too, but you go ahead with that one.
And Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few among the heathen, where the Yahweh shall lead you. Right. So this is one scripture right here showing that the Israelites will be dispersed. You want to get yours, Chief? I got another one too.
Yeah, give me Isaiah 11:11.
Go on.
Isaiah 11:11. Simple.
Isaiah 11:11.
Yeah, get right to the point.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of.
Stop right there. The second time. This is how you exclude everybody else but Israel. The second time. The only nation that the Most High ever saved from captivity is Israel from Egypt, right?
Right.
It's the only nation that had this in history. So he said he's going to set his hand a second time, meaning that this is only going to be this event only happened one time before, right? And it's going to happen in the future a second time. Read on.
The remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
So the remnant of his people that was in all these other nations, right? So we're spread around the four corners of the earth inside all these other enemy lines, behind all these other nations. He said he's going to get his people from all these places. All right. Read on.
Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel.
Of who?
Of the outcast of
So
Israel.
he shall assemble the outcast of Israel. So the prophecy never included anybody else, right? So when they talk about they were gathered onto the Messiah, it could only be Israel, because only Israel was prophesied to be gathered onto the Messiah. All right. Read finish that verse and then the next verse, and then that's it on that.
All right. And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
So now why that's very important? Because that goes to the prophecy in Ezekiel, right?
Right.
Judah and Ephraim being brought together on one stick. That's what it's talking about. So there's no other prophecy of anything else happening with the other nations. So that's how we know it can't possibly be. So when you're dealing with somebody in precepts, you first have to show them, well, what is happening here? Where are these people? Why are they gathered before the Most High? Where are they going?
Right.
They're going into the kingdom. Well, if they're going into the kingdom, there's only one prophecy of the kingdom, and that's Israel going to the kingdom, right? There really is no prophecy that Moab is going to the kingdom. There's no prophecy that the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Perizzites is going to the kingdom. It's nowhere in the Bible.
Right.
Never read that.
Never read it. You never read it, right? What you was holding there?
Con, I just wanted to go right back to Revelation 7. So I'm just going to finish it off. Okay. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 9, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people, tongues, before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and psalms in their hands. Right? What is this white? What is the white robe supposed to represent? And who are the only people that could wear this white robes? Let's go to Revelation 19 just to prove that real quick. And this is going to show you again, this is just Israel. Right? Revelation chapter 19 and 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed. Who's the her? It's talking about the woman that will be married to the Lamb. The woman is Israel. Even the Christians know this. They understand that this marriage is between Israel and Christ. They understand that. We try to include everybody else. So let's pay attention to what this woman is arrayed with. It's the same thing that these people are arrayed with in Revelation chapter 7. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. Or the saints. Who are the saints? Is the Israelites. Psalm 48 and 14. The righteousness is the law. So this is all pertaining to the Israelites. So even using that, even sticking to this verse, going to the Greek, is just still emphatically proof it's Israel. It's only Israel, and that's it. So don't get stuck with just a particular word. Like you may see a word that says like familiar, right? You don't have to get the precept that says familiar. You have to get the precept that just give the understanding and pretty much paint the whole picture for somebody to understand. That's all.
But the scoffer gonna say, I ain't gonna mean that. It don't mean that. That's what the scoffers say.
The scripture says, let the simple be simple, because you got to rebuttal. If a man be ignorant, let him be ignorant.
All right.
Also, just another way you can come at it is showing that the covenants of the Old Testament are the covenants of the New Testament, right?
Okay.
Jeremiah 31:31.
Let's go to it.
And then link it to, Hebrews.
The 8th chapter.
Yeah, the 8th chapter. But actually, all right, let's do that. Because I was going to go to Jeremiah 16:14, but let's get 31:31. Let's do 31:31. 31, verse 31. Read that off.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Idle One, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them.
Right. So he's again referencing the first salvation of our people coming out of Egypt. He said, I'm going to have a new covenant, not like when I brought them out of Egypt, but another one, right? Who did he bring out of Egypt? And this is how you act.
Israel. They brought Israelites.
Everybody knows he brought Israel, but he said, I'm going to have another covenant, not like I did with their fathers when I brought them out of Egypt. So now, if I'm talking about something I did with your father, and I'm saying I'm not going to do like I did with your father, I'm going to do with you differently, I'm still talking about your bloodline.
Right.
Read on.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's like you. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Iniquity, and I remember their sin no more. So this is a people, the same people that was brought out of Egypt are going to be forgiven, right? Now, if you got a scoffer, like you said, they can say that's in Jeremiah, that came to pass, right? That's when you take them to Hebrews now, right? Well, did it come to pass? Let's see. Go to the book of Hebrews. Let's see if this event took place, right? Let's read it in Hebrews.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8 and verse 8. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
So he's reiterating the same thing. It has not come to pass yet, right? The same thing. So somebody can say that was the Old Testament. Oh, no. It's also in the New Testament, right? That this has not come to pass yet. Read on.
I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
And again, you asked them. Only one nation was led out of Egypt by the hand of the Most High. Go ahead.
Because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall teach every man his neighbor to like it, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. And that he saith, a new covenant he hath made. The first, he had made the first old. And now which decayeth.
Now the old covenant is decaying, meaning that it's faded away.
And waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
And ready to vanish away, meaning that it hasn't happened yet. This is all future tense. We still under the first covenant to this very day.
Right.
We're still under the covenant that he made when he brought us out of the land of Egypt. We have not entered into the new covenant yet. We don't enter into that new covenant until we're going into that kingdom. Right? That's why we still got to teach each other the Bible. Right? Because in the new covenant, we don't have to teach each other the Bible anymore. He said, you won't teach each other no more, saying know the Lord. We're all going to know him. Right? It's not going to be a mystery. The Most High is not going to be a mystery in the world anymore because everybody's going to know. He's going to be right there in Jerusalem. Right? He's going to be right there. So we know we got the new covenant because we can't go to you go to Jerusalem right now, the place is a wasteland. Right? It ain't now. So we know that. So when somebody, like I said, there's another way you could go about it. They might pull that scripture, like the captain bringing out. They're pulling 7 and 9 to imply that the other nations are going to be accepted by the Most High, right?
Right.
That they're coming into the marriage,
Right.
That's what they're implying. But now their implication don't hold weight or cannot stand up against all the other scriptures that says Israel only, right?
Right.
So you don't have to sit there and battle within the text of that one verse. You can then compile all the other verses and show them, surely this could not mean this, right?
Okay.
To be Israelites, you know what I mean? Because then this verse is contrary to the rest of the Bible, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a way that you can pose it when dealing with somebody in a verse, all right? Now, of course, the captain also brought out going into the Greek, showing that it's, it is pertaining to Israel. But sometimes you could just compile the scriptures. There's too many scriptures, right? I mean, what am I thinking about? Isaiah 44, what? I will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many scriptures that tells us that it's Israel. Or you could just even go in there and go to Romans, who pertain to the prophets, the promise. Because I know sometimes when dealing with somebody that's trying to incorporate the other nations, they're probably a New Testament buff, right?
Right.
They
Right.
go to the Old Testament because they know they dead in the water when they go to the Old Testament. So they say, no, you got to teach the New Testament. Well, the New Testament says the same thing.
Right. The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the glory, and the covenant, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is a good one too.
Yeah.
That now for a good one.
They can't run around that. Matter of fact, you name the book, we could give you a scripture. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, there's no way of running around it. The Most High said it in every book. He said it to every prophet. He gave every prophet the same understanding. You know what I mean? The modern day word for a prophet is apostle or disciple.
Okay.
The prophets and apostles, disciples are the same thing. Right?
Oh, that's a good. Okay, thank you.
It's the same thing. They're the same thing. They spoke, thus saith the Most High. That's what they spoke. Right? They gave the message from the Most High to the people. That's all they did. Right? They showed the Most High's power. These are the ones the Most High used to show his power on the earth. That's it. So as much as we want, or a lot of our people want our enemies to go into the kingdom with us, we got to get rid of our enemies. Like the
Right.
about separating from our enemies.
Right.
Matter of fact, Christ told us he come to save us from our enemies, right? And
Right.
Luke 68.
And I can't wait.
That's it. So we don't want to take our enemies with us.
No, unless they're gonna be a slave.
All right. Well, then they got Isaiah 60 then. If they want to come so bad, job for them. Isaiah 60 and 10, right?
61 and 5. Isaiah 61 and 5 and 6.
There it is. So if they want to come so bad, well, come on, right? But you ain't going to be sitting like my friend. You're not my friend. You're my enemy,
Right.
right? One thing the stranger was made for. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Shall do what?
Build up thy walls.
Yeah, they can come, all right. They'll come and work. Come and get to work. Build up our walls.
And their kings shall minister unto thee.
And their kings shall serve us. Their kings shall serve us. Right? Read.
For in my wrath I smote thee.
Because in the wrath of the Most High, he had us serve them. Right?
Okay.
We serve them, right?
I like that 61. That Isaiah 60 and 10.
Yeah. We serve them. So the logic is, if we serve them in
Right.
his wrath, in his blessing, they serve us. So it's not complicated. Revelations, what am I thinking of? 13 and 9, right? Goes right along with this. Revelations 13 and 9 go right along with this. They have to serve us. That's the kingdom. When they serve us, we're not in the kingdom until the white man is serving you. That's when you're in the kingdom, right? Let's read.
Or Revelations? Or
No, finish 60.
shall minister unto thee, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy unto thee. Therefore thy gates should be open continually.
Right.
They should not be shut day nor night.
Let's see why. Go ahead.
That man may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles.
The what?
The forces of the Gentiles.
They need to bring us all their goods. They need to. Our gates are going to be open. It's going to be like Amazon. Keep coming over. Keep ringing the bell. Just leave the door open, man. Pack all the boxes to the side. Amazon showing up again. Right? Read on.
And that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
Shall what?
Shall perish.
The nations and the kings that won't serve the Israelites will perish. So how could they be with us entering into the kingdom when it told us that the nations that don't serve Israel will be destroyed? So I think that's quite a bit of put those in your arsenal.
I did. I wrote them down.
Put them in your quiver, so when somebody come at you with that nonsense,
Uh-huh.
shut it down. Shut it down with the verses. You can't run from the verses.
I appreciate it. The water.
Again, the water for being a brave soul and coming on the line, man. We need a lot of fans coming on the line. All right.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
All right, thank you, Kings.
All
All right, shalom.
Shalom.
So, as you see that, family, listen, man, we out here to educate. We out here to uplift and enlighten, man. The battle is for us all, man, to establish what's true and right in the sight of the Most High. All right, we're talking about bringing our enemies to our glory. So, after you done conquer the nation,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna put up another track for the family. Oh, it's 9:30 already? All right, last verse. Luke 1:68. Yeah, this time go quick when we're doing it. Right. I realized that was the time already. Luke 1:68. And then we're gonna wrap it in.
The book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68.
Come on.
Blessed be the outgoing power of Israel,
Uh-huh.
for he hath visited and redeemed his people.
Right. So blessed be the Lord God of Israel that visited his people. How obvious can this be? This is in the New Testament. Read on.
And hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house.
For who?
Raised up a horn of salvation for us.
For the whole world.
For us.
He said he raised up a horn of salvation for us. Who's us? The Israelites. Read.
For in the house of his servant David.
Mm-hmm.
And as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Come on.
And that we should be saved from our enemies.
That we should be what?
Saved from our enemies.
Our natural born enemies. These other nations are our enemies. We need to be saved from them. We need to be taken out of their grasp. Right? Not buddy with them in the kingdom. Read.
And from the hand of all that hate us.
All that what?
All that hate us.
Who hated us as a people? Right? Who do we keep asking for equal rights? Who do we keep talking about? Who are we talking to when we say Black Lives Matter? Right? Who are we talking to? Are we talking to ourselves? Or are we talking to another nation that keeps killing us, killing our children, killing our families, destroying our households, destroying our wives? Who are we talking to when we tell them Black Lives Matter? Who are we singing about when we say we shall overcome one day? Negro spirituals, right? Who are we singing about? We're singing about the white man and what he has done to our people. We're not singing about somebody random. See, Esau in these last days will try to make you believe he never existed. He never did anything. He tried to claim innocence. He's not innocent in no way, shape, or form. So he doesn't get the kingdom.
Right.
He doesn't get anything else. He already got his time. This is his time. And his time is coming to an end. All praise to Yahweh. Family, this is the Bring It Out Radio Show. I'm the Chief Minister Shalimar. I brought with me the baddest man in the land, right? The captain of all captains, Captain I'm one lawyer, but Yashima. The scriptures is coming out. We're going to continue to bring out this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding. I continue to, I beseech the family to continue to support the Bring It Out Show. Send us the topics you want us to go into. Right, you can send them to the Light of Zion email address, I think it's dlightofzion@gmail.com. dlightofzion, all one, all together, @gmail.com. Right? The art of war is to take out your enemies with the least amount of effort possible. Right? Take your enemies and get them out of the way with the least amount of effort possible. And when you master the art of war, then you are truly a soldier of the Most High, whether it be a brother soldier or a sister soldier of the Most High. And with that, I would say shalom to the family, and we're going to take you out with another track. All right, we're going to close it out in true BTO style, because we got to bring that music out.
Guards in a cocoon when you trapped in a matrix. Made in his image, comprehension of statement. I'm blatant. Fools need to start rejecting Satan. Devils roam earth freely with big business. Females move off reception of inches. Derelict crab mental. What Mark Jacobs, the wise shall inherit the earth for a new birth. The interest of life is the interest of work. Mistreat the caterpillar, but love the butterfly. Everything has an ugly phase, even you and I. Johnny Turbulence, King Johnny Appleseed. Q24 Bushwick, the South Queens. Pomegranate seed crushed in the apple tea. Intracellular techniques I keep clean. Cashews, distill water, eat beets. Purple potatoes, pink salt, zucchini. Watercress, arugula, batano beans. Gillis Casanova, wildebeest from the east. Goes anywhere, word is Barney's, my streets. Can go anywhere, the world created for me. Better check what the Father said unto thee. Second Ezra 6, check the 50s. Old sneakers caught in the rain, sting feet. Yeah! Chaotic change brings chaotic phase. Never be afraid to be alone in any place. Could go 3 years, Alaska, favorite place. It's a mental challenge. King Daniel Savage, don't wrestle with lions. Just build with them. Eager, laugh hard, review bank statements. The enemy will never love us. Too much greatness. Moorish revival. Morinos built the Eiffel. White people always stealing shit, even the Bible. Repent daily, going crazy like Charles Haley. Ching Chong, Sakari, King Kong, Kingdom. Yasharala live long. Levi with a tie with knee highs. Wise guys eat lunch with 5 guys. French fries, sprinkle salt, the iodine. Goddamn fact, New Yorkers feel the pride. Chilling, chilling, ching, ching. Maccabees on the rise. My backpack raps attract those back of the class. Boom back, big subwoofers and hatchbacks. Honda Civics, spoiler kids 12 inches. 90 stick shifted, aerodynamics. Sex reservation for the marriage, yes. The nastiness can bring flesh to happiness. Sweat glands, yes, relax the woolly head. Extravagant sweat straightens the nappy hair. V-necks get stretched like crazy fan. The crazy man, tablespoon, the Haitian jam. Unleavened bread, spit it out the Haitian jam. The Haitian man, that's Levi, Nick Haitian. Executive center of the brain, playing games. Never fear change, you know what I'm saying? Look.